I would agree with Ross Greer on quite a lot of social issues, I suspect. I'm never going to really agree with Ross on economic issues because ultimately Ross is far more sceptical about the private sector than I am. He's far more sceptical about economic liberalism than I am. And ultimately, a lot of what is going wrong in Scotland just now is because we don't have enough private sector, not because we've got too much private sector. It's because we don't have enough wealth, not because we've got too much wealth. And I think that, going against these things is an investment killer, a jobs killer, and ultimately then a tax killer and a public services killer at the same time. So we're not going to agree on that. All of that being said, I have complained many times before that the quality of what we've got in the Scottish Parliament overall is not good enough. And you cannot make that complaint about Ross Greer. This is a high quality person, it's a high quality individual. There's a lot of people who might not agree with his politics, but he is extremely good at what he does. He's a very good politician, he's very smart, and he's a massive asset to the Scottish Parliament.
Yeah. Just one thing I'd say in closing, not to disagree with much of what Andy said, but actually, if you look at the Green Party recent elections, they've ticked up on the regional vote, which is where they get their seats, from 4.4% in 2011, 10 years later in 21 to getting 8%, right? It's a modest increase. Things are moving in the right direction. But perhaps they need to be looking at themselves and going, how has a party with such less infrastructure, like Reform, come into the fold in Scotland and is outpolling them in almost every single poll of late, and indeed in the local by-elections as well. So that's a challenge because, it shows that perhaps their brand of politics is not appealing to enough people to make them a credible, real force in Scottish politics. Perhaps that's all they want to be. An opposition party. But if you really want to affect change, as I've said many times in this podcast, you have to be in government. If they really want to be in government, they need to consider why other parties are perhaps managing to come into the fold and achieve a lot more in a lot less time.